So today, like we said, today we're going to have a special guest. Please pay attention and be mindful and respect this time, because it's a treat for you guys to be able to speak to someone. He'll tell you a little bit more about his story, but most of you are already 16, 17, 15. He's been doing this since he was 12 years old. So he's already built a whole career by the time that he was in your guys' age. So this is something insightful for you guys to be able to listen and really just take away from it all. So please give your undivided attention to Mike.
What's up? First off, I want to start by thanking everybody. To me, Joseph, you guys are great. Aviation High School seems great. What you guys do here is awesome. I had no idea about the planes and everything, so that's all good. So that being said, I'm Mikey Domagala. Like Joseph said, I'm the owner and founder of Sports Buzz Network. My big page is Courtside Buzz. You guys may have followed it already. It's got like 3.5 million followers on social media, Instagram, Facebook, all that. I've since expanded to Blitz Buzz, which is a football page, Combat Buzz, which is an MMA and boxing page. And like I got on my shirt, and over there is Inside Buzz, where me and Timmy connected. Because I do interviews with NBA players from all sports, college, NBA, all that. I've got like 50 plus interviews. And like Joseph said, I started all this when I was 12. So you guys are in high school, mostly juniors, sophomores, seniors. So all through my high school career, I was doing this. So it's never too early to start anything, whether it's your aviation stuff or any hobby or whatnot. And here's, Joseph, go back real quick. Here's all my ads you can follow, Courtside Buzz, IG, this is all the Instagram stuff. I'll have a QR code at the end, you guys can scan and check everything out. So yeah, just want to talk to you guys about, a career in journalism, sports, and how you can tie it all together. All right, so how I started, 2012 to 2017. Like you guys, I'm sure you like basketball. Here's me in middle school, high school basketball, I was on varsity, all that. So I've always been a basketball head, and that's where it all started. It was originally called NBA Buzz. I've since renamed it to Courtside Buzz to, get some legal stuff out of the way and all of that. So when I was 12, I was a huge basketball fan. Big Kobe, LeBron, Tracy McGrady guy, right? Love my Knicks. You guys Knicks fans, Mets fans? Yeah? Celtics. All right, get out of here. You got a little bit of a front runner over here. But no, I'm just messing with you. So when I was 12, I started all this. And what it is covering NBA basketball on social media with graphics, news content, stats on a daily basis, trades, rumors, all of that. So if you guys like basketball, follow Courtside Buzz. You can scan the QR code after. And through the years, keep it there, Joseph. I built the platform. So followers coming in. First is thousands, then it's dozens of thousands, to hundreds of thousands. Then you hit your first million followers, which is great. Then you become more and more legit. So I was doing all this stuff when I was like 15, 16, so around your guys' age. And at that age, you gotta start thinking of a career. Now I know you guys got your aviation stuff here, but you probably think of other careers too. So in high school, I'll go to my guidance counselors and they're like, you should be a journalist, you should be a content creator, all that stuff. So then I took it to the next level in high school. These are 2 articles I wrote in high school. One is interviewing Al Horford, who's on the Celtics side. I'm sure you guys know who he is. I did a video interview with him when I was like 16. So that was my first major on the map piece, where I really became a journalist. And then I fell in love. I went to LIU Post on Long Island, got my journalism degree and all that. I'll talk about that more in a little bit. I also did an interview with Jamani Monty Love Swanson, who's actually in the Harlem Globetrotters. He's a 4'2" little person who's a professional basketball player who's now in the Globetrotters. I wrote like a 7-page piece on him when I was like 17. And that just made me fall in love with all this stuff, with NBA Buzz and Combat Buzz and all that behind me. So, Joseph, you hit next. So, through that, all of that in my high school career, obviously, like I said, you start thinking about college. I immediately wanted to become a journalist, become more legit, see what else I could do. And you guys, some people might steer you out of college and say, maybe you don't need college, maybe you do, maybe you don't. To me, always try to go to college if it's available to you, get your scholarships if you can, and go that route. And the reason why I say it is, you guys, baseball fans, Yankees, Mets, you know about the minor league league system, right? How I equate this to is, I was in the minor leagues when I was starting NBA buzz and I was in high school. Then I started getting to the major leagues in my development through the minor leagues of college because I learned everything I need to know about my field of journalism and content creation in college. So again, I went to Long Island University on the island, and I learned a lot of stuff. You got a question, buddy? Oh, okay. I learned a lot of stuff into my career. So on the top left, those are articles I wrote for the college newspaper in school. I was, the sports journalist. The bottom left, I got an internship at SNY New York, which is the Mets channel and all of that. Channel 60 on cable, if you guys know. Here on the bottom, I taught a master's program when I was 17, 18 years old out of college. So there's a lot of stuff to do through college. Here's work I did behind the camera, in front of the camera. I did broadcasting for the LA basketball team. So basically, it had me dip into every part of journalism by just going to college. And like I said, the minor leagues into the major leagues is taking all of this and what you do in college and making money and getting a job through all of it. So that's pretty much what I did in college. And while I was doing all that, I was still doing courtside buzz. I was developing inside buzz. And yeah, I just kept falling in love and kept the snowball going, and here I am at 25 and in front of you guys. All right, Joseph. So here's Inside Buzz. I got the shirt on here. This is my interview podcast, where I've interviewed over 50 NBA players, college players, street ballers, all different kinds of people. And I've gone viral on social media through Courtside Buzz through it. So some of my interviews have been featured on SportsCenter, ESPN, Bleacher Report, all of that. So this is my personal stuff, and then what you see on a daily basis on Courtside Buzz and the other pages is just simply covering the sports. So if you guys are sports heads, you could follow my platforms and be engaged in everyday content, graphics, videos, as well as my interviews that I do. So I've also interviewed Damian Lillard and Bam Adebayo, I'm sure you guys know from the NBA in the Olympics. Dayron Sharp was actually through to me, hooked me up with Dayron a couple of weeks back. We had a great interview. So that's what most of my interviews look like in my basement studio. And yeah, I've interviewed Ice Cube up there. And I went to Boston for the NBA Finals. I interviewed fans outside. So basically, yeah, I learned a lot in college and in high school, but I took all this stuff and turned it into my own thing, where I don't need a job. I got my own money coming in through my platforms. And you don't have to rely on everybody if you build it all yourself. So that's kind of why I'm here to talk to you guys. It's like, through social media, in every field, you could build a business. You could make money through it. I'm sure you guys know all the influencers who post dumb stuff and make a ton of money. There's businesses you could grow by doing the same thing. All right, Joseph. So here's kind of some content that you'll see by following my platforms. You'll see on a daily basis. So through college, I also learned graphic design, Photoshop, Keynote, all this stuff. Just another way of expressing my content to the masses, because I have about 4 million followers on everything. I reach hundreds of millions of people a month and all of that. So you got to get engaging graphics. Here's the other day, Anthony Davis shot 35 points, 10 rebounds, hit 50% of his shots. That's something you'll see. Steph Curry just injured himself. That'll be a breaking news post through my source on Courtside Buzz, and you'll get that information, on the drop of a hat. Here's Blitz Buzz. Here's Jameis Winston, his performance last week. He was balling out for Cleveland. Here's Rob Divalishvili when he beat Sean O'Malley. That's the post we did, and new champion in the UFC. And then Devontae Adams. You guys are football fans, you said, and when he got traded to the Jets. You learn a lot of things. You make jersey swaps of all the people, push the news out there. It all goes viral for you guys to kind of digest the content. So, yeah, you guys can follow my stuff at the end of this. All right, Joseph. And how to make a career as a journalist in media and on social media. So, like I explained how I did it, there's so many other ways of doing it. Now, I don't know if you guys are in the aviation program here. I'm sure you are. And you probably have other interests. If you have any interest in becoming a journalist, I wouldn't say it's easy, but there's a lot of avenues you could go. So there's being a writer. I'm sure, maybe not newspapers nowadays, but there's a lot of journalism and articles you can click online and sports and all of that. Being a broadcaster, which is, you listen to a game, Marv Albert, other guys out there who are famous for doing it. Be a cameraman. Here's, on the top left, these are all the positions you can have. A social media content creator, like myself, a podcast host, editor, producer, anchor, influencer, photographer. Maybe you guys are into photography. There's sports photographers, there's news photographers. There's all kinds of things like that if you guys are interested in going that route. So you get the bench, Joseph, as well. Thank you. Now, kind of like I mentioned earlier, I know you guys are TikTok kids, Instagram real kids. I'm sure you guys know who the pimple popper is, Sandra Lee. Do you ever see those videos of all that stuff to make you like yourself do? She's popping pimples and she's a dermatologist. So my point is with this, you could be in any field you want, any hobby you have. You could be in the aviation program, you could become a pilot, and you could become a viral pilot by showing the ropes, the everyday life as a pilot. All of this. Here's a guy I follow on social media in the middle. He goes by SB Mowing. He's a landscaper. Yeah, you know SB Mowing because he'll go to rundown areas and he'll just, mow the whole lawn. He'll edge it all out. And he's not charging anybody anything because what's he going to do with $250 from the homeowner when he's got 11 million views, making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on a video? So that's his business model. And lastly, over here, this is, if I were to lose everything and go back to school, I'd become a chiropractor. One, I find it interesting. It's like resetting the body, adjusting. Chiropractors nowadays have their own businesses, of course. They're also social media influencers. Have you seen on social media like those pops, those big sounds? They pull the neck and everybody's relieved. You can do all that stuff through social media. So, like I mentioned to you guys, any field, any hobby you guys have, look at it in a different way of how you can do it and start broadcasting yourself on TikTok, Instagram, and all that. And you can become Sandra Lee, getting dunked out of somebody's back and making more money on social media than she makes in her practice. So it's a crazy area, social media. All right, Joseph. Now that's kind of all my presentation. We're going to get to a quick question and answer. I can tell you some more stuff I've done through the years. Like I said, I taught a master's program at a college when I was 18 because one of my fans on Courtside Buzz is a professor, and he reached out to me and was like, Mikey, I want you to teach everything you know to my master's program. They were like 24, 25 at the time, and I was 18 and I was teaching that. A couple other things, I do work for the Big Three. You guys know Ice Cube's Big Three League? Yep, you know it. When they're here in New York mostly, at the Garden or the Barclays Center, I got a few connects over there who hook me up with the players. I'll go there as media and all of that. Sometimes I'm credential media with the Brooklyn Nets when I can and I have the time. So yeah, I've got a lot of connections, and if you guys are interested in that field, my DMs are always open on Instagram and social media. You could follow my stuff and find me there. So from here, I got through that a little quick, a lot quicker than I thought. But yeah, we can do a question and answer if you guys got questions. Basketball, media, editing. What's up, buddy?
How do you use your information?
Yeah, so you guys know Woes, right? Woes just retired, Shams, Tarania. I also have a lot of inside sources just through the years since I'm 12, I'm 25 now. So 13 years of growing relationships, which is extremely important in every field. Me and Tamik's relationship has evolved. He hooks me up with some players. If he needs something, I need something. We could be in contact and hook each other up. It's like a bartering system. So I have the same thing with a lot of journalists out there who have inside scoops with teams and other things who feed me information that I post. And also, the everyday Shams and Woes information that comes about when the teams drop their news and all things like that. Any other questions? What's up?
Do you still run your account, or do you have people that help out, work out
Yeah, good question. So I do all my posting. I'm very strict with growing my following for 13 years now because I know the ins and the outs and all that. So Courtside Buzz, which is the biggest one, with like 3.4 million across everything, that's all me. My other sports, Blitz Buzz, Combat Buzz, Strikeout Buzz, and your baseball page. I have some people involved in that to help me out outside of basketball because I can't have my hands in every cookie jar of every sport. So yeah, that was a good question. And if you guys are into media and stuff like that, I'm always going to need help as I grow and evolve. So just shoot me a DM and tell me what you guys got, and I can maybe hook you guys up. What's up?
How'd you learn how to graphic design?
That was mostly through college and a lot of your own doing. Through college, you go to Photoshop classes. You guys familiar with Photoshop? You guys use it at all? No, but I'm sure you know, like, oh, that was Photoshop, this was Photoshop, doctor, whatever. I had a class in Photoshop in college, and I learned the basics, and from there, it's like, I want to start making jersey swaps. Like when Jalen Brunson went to the Knicks, I had a jersey swap, I broke that news, had him in the Knicks uniform by grabbing a jersey off somebody else, putting it on him. I showed you the Devontae Adams one. So there's a lot of good stuff with that you could just take to the next level. Now, I'm not an amazing Photoshopper, insane designer, but I do more news and jersey swap, stuff like that. So yeah, that's a good question. What's up, dude?
What is like a piece of advice that like helped you throughout your career?
I would say, see how you guys got to meet, you got Joseph here. Latch on to those who know more than you and could teach you a lot of things. I'm going to reference right now, I'll send him the video. My high school English teacher, Mr. Malassi, was my English teacher. He was also my newspaper teacher. So he taught me how to write. So latching on to him, who was a former writer, knows how to write, is an English teacher, knows grammar. I'm still in contact with him on probably like a monthly, bi-monthly basis, showing him my stuff. Maybe, you know, was this well written? What do you think? So I would say latching on to people who know more than you and just picking their brain. Me as a journalist, I ask a lot of questions. You're not going to get information if you don't ask. So stay curious is my advice. And pick Tamik's brain, pick Joseph's brain, whether it's aviation or, you know, what they do with Taj Gibson or in the community, stuff like that. Just always stay in the know and the now. Good question. What's up?
So if you would have picked anything else like besides sports, what would have you picked?
Yeah, well, I mentioned chiropractor, being a chiropractor, which I find interesting. I find medicine interesting, helping people in need interesting. It's a lot of work. I wouldn't want to be like a trauma doctor or anything like that because it's scary. But I go into chiropractor. You know, when you see somebody who's hunched, an old lady who's hunched, you could work on them and flatten them out, and then, you know, their life is way better for that alone. So that's kind of the medical area I would go into. So, what's up?
What are the challenges that you faced while managing your businesses?
Yeah, good question. I would say the mental aspect is big. So I've been doing this for 13 years. I haven't had a day off since 2012. Now, that's 13 years ago. So covering the sport on a daily basis, really being engaged and staying on the whole time. I actually was sued in the past. I kind of, you know, had to get lawyers involved with some content that wasn't really mine that I was posting. So it's a big learning experience to get sued and kind of learn the ropes and learn how kind of nasty people can be out there when they come after you and your business, with something you didn't really mean to do. So those are kind of some obstacles. Even now, just staying mentally on check on a daily basis and doing it isn't tough, but you gotta have your own time. What's up?
Who was your favorite athlete you worked with?
Yeah, my favorite athlete to work with, Damian Lillard. You guys know Dame? You know, I interviewed him when he was in Portland and he was on the Olympic squad in 2020. He was great. He answered like 3 of my questions in a press conference. We connected after. He followed Courtside Buzz, which was great. And yeah, so I would say Dame and, you know, some other people. Sean Kemp was a legend in the 90s. He gave me like an hour and a half worth of time to just interview him, pick his brain, connect with him. So all good stuff. What's up?
What was your biggest endorsement deal that you gained from your career, and what was the story behind it?
Biggest endorsement deal. Now, I don't really have endorsement deals technically because I'm not an athlete necessarily. You know, I'm all 5'6". I checked out of basketball in high school, so I wasn't playing pro or anything like that. But these platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, when you guys watch those videos, people make money. So like my platform makes money. So when the social media platforms started really paying their creators, and I got my 4 million followers, so that's really my biggest deal with the platforms of getting like revenue share and stuff like that. From TikTok being monetized on there. So not necessarily a specific deal with the company. Like I have deals with like SeatGeek and other companies who are like ticket companies, but nothing like a Gatorade or anything else. ESPN and stuff more uses my stuff, you know, to their success as well. But that was a good question. What's up?
Were you good at basketball when you used to play?
Yeah, I was pretty good. I mean, just a small point guard. Not gonna kill you in scoring, but I can pass and have a high IQ and stuff like that. I think those are the best kind of coaches in basketball, and I can toot my own horn, but you know, that's kind of, you got to be a thinker, which is what a point guard is, a passer, and that's kind of how I do with my interviews. I'm curious. You got to think deeply in a lot of this stuff, so yeah, could I have played in college? Maybe, but I was deep in this stuff, so I just checked out in high school. That was about it. How about you? You play? Oh, good. Okay. So yeah, you follow the page after.
So I got a question.
What's up?
So you started this when you were 12 years old.
Yes.
From that age, from 12 to I would say like around 18, you do get a lot of judgment from people.
Yes.
And just anything that you do, you always get judgment. Did you have to overcome anything where people would be like, why are you posting on social media? What are you doing? You look stupid. And at what point did it become serious enough where it became like, okay, now this is a respectable thing that everybody does?
Yeah, and that's a great question because social media in 2012 to 2017 in my high school years was way different than it is now. Now, I'm sure you guys know 30 people in this school who post on TikTok, on Instagram, or doing whatever they do. Joseph asked a great question because I was a little nervous early for people, I wouldn't say people to find out, but social media was so new back then and content creation wasn't what it is now that I was like, people are going to think I'm crazy committing all this time to this. I'm interviewing people, you know, they know it's just Mikey from middle school and high school doing all this stuff, and the judgment might be there. So more so later in my high school years when I started writing, I started doing more interviews, you know, you start thinking, to hell with those people. Like, I'm working on a career and all this stuff for my future, while they're just talking smack about, maybe I said a word wrong, or, you know, I look funny on camera or something like that. So, through Joseph's question, my advice to you is, don't worry about your classmates. I talked to maybe 2% of the people I graduated with in high school. So they mean nothing to me. As long as they see me on my journey and on my way, and they're gonna see you on your way, that's all that matters. So they're just gonna know you from high school. What's up?
What's another goal you have for yourself, like to achieve in like the next like 2 to 5 years?
Good question, good question. So definitely continuing to grow and expand my pages, diving into, you know, football, MMA, more baseball, hockey, all that stuff is gonna come. But more so getting credentialed, because even though I have all these followers, right, I got like 4.5 million followers, I'm my own journalist, I'm my own person, it's hard to get respect from teams because I'm not in the party exactly. So like there's journalists out there who are different than me, who work for the teams and all that. I would like to get credentialed more, travel more, and become a part of more events in baseball, boxing, MMA, and all of that. So another good question. Let me see who I haven't called on.
Just to add
Yeah.
on to that. So now, you said 2 to 3 years, you're just getting more credentialing and be
Yeah.
able to kind of keep on growing. Where do you define success as to what's the end goal of success? What does that look like for you? Since
For
you've
me,
been-
myself, sure.
Yeah, it's been, you know, you've been doing this since you were 12 and now you've scaled it 13 years.
Yeah.
To 4 million platforms, 4 million people on your platforms. What does success look like?
Yeah, I have to toot my own horn and say I've had personal success on all this with my pages and all that. Personally, Joseph, you're going to find this funny. Through journalism and all that, I would love to be like a late night TV host in the future, like a Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, and dive more into like the entertainment area, have athletes on like that. So really blow up to the mainstream as like a journalist, maybe even work for ESPN as like a true anchor on TV with Stephen A., Kendrick Perkins, on, you know, down at the Seaport and stuff like that. So breaking on to that next level, that's what my sights are on now through this. And I got a website I'm developing that can hopefully take me there more through other platforms. So yeah, just continue to do
Was
this.
that the goal when you first started? Or did it?
It evolved. It definitely evolved because when I first started, I just wanted a job at ESPN, one of these companies, which is great. I make my own money now, so I don't need to run ESPN social media when I do my own thing. So that was an evolved goal. Like I wanted that in high school to be an anchor, but then the money here is just too good. I worked in Manhattan for a year. You know, it's nice to say I didn't need that anymore. I can do my own thing full time, which is great. So yeah, now it's like jumping for the big fish. Like get recognized, get big, be hired by ESPN as a journalist. Maybe, you know, you see me on TV.
Like outside outlets or Bleacher Pro like offer to like buy your account, would you ever consider selling it?
Well, I have been offered to be bought out for a pretty lucrative number. But what I would suggest to you guys, that number could maybe retire me for a long time, keep me, good money. My advice to you with that is, the offers could be great, but if you got a good thing going and you're happy and you love what you do, why are you gonna not sell it short, but why are you gonna cut the tail off and kind of give it to somebody who may take it to the next level? So yeah, it wasn't a House of Highlights or a Bleacher Report, it was another company offered me a great deal, but I'm so young, I'm not too much older than you guys, I'm 25, so I still love what I do.
What company was it?
I can't tell you. But, yeah.
How do you stay focused at 12 to 18 to follow your journey without having outside noise?
Yes.
And just staying the course and just, being at the level you're at now, advice you can give students?
Yeah, a lot of balance. Like I showed you the pictures of me playing basketball. I was playing basketball while running all this stuff. I was getting my homework done. I was in clubs and stuff like that. You gotta kind of see the goal, the entire picture, and just grind through it. So if you guys got your goal on something, maybe in the moment, in the now, you feel like, this sucks, man. Like I gotta grind, I gotta work. I got 3 hours of doing this as well as schoolwork. If you just keep your foot on the pedal, you'll break through and maybe get to the other side of doing what you love full time. So another great question. So.
What was your dream tour interview with the NBA?
Oh, Michael Jordan. I mean, listen, MJ or LeBron, more specifically MJ. Listen, you guys know Michael Jordan. He's never in the public eye. If I could get him on like an hour-long interview and go viral at every question I got, I would love that. So MJ, LeBron, one of the head honchos would be great. So, yeah, good question.
Were there times when you felt like giving up? And if so, what is something or someone that kept you going with wanting to
Yeah. I mentioned my English teacher, my writing teacher. This was right before high school. I was busy as hell with the page. I won't lie. It was Kobe's last year. The Warriors just went 73-9. That was a hectic year. And I was so busy with school, applying to colleges and stuff like that. I was doing everything myself. That it was a lot. It was a lot on me on a daily basis around that time. I wouldn't say I thought of quitting, but I had like a 3 or 4 month period where I was like, nah, I don't have to cover that. Like, all right, I'm just gonna, loosen up my grip on what I do on a daily basis. And I'm happy I got back on track with my teacher really being in my ear and telling me, listen, man, you got a good thing going. Like, this could be your job in the future, and everything he predicted is right. So.
And also, another question, what would you say to like someone that's choosing a similar career path as yourself? Like, what is a piece of advice you would give them to continue going?
My advice, somebody dive into what I do is dive into everything I mentioned in college, all those facets of writing, filming, being in front of the camera, behind the camera, learning all different aspects of that, maybe starting your own interview show and start interviewing, kids in school who have cool hobbies, and that could turn into people in the neighborhood who have good things going for them. You could start interviewing them and get on board with that. My advice is start now, not next week or next month. Right now is when, the growth will really happen forward. And yeah, just all the grind. You guys nowadays have access to so much that I didn't have in 2012 with just the platforms being what they are now. You could put your predictions on TikTok and you could go viral. And then, maybe LeBron sees it, LeBron shares it, and now all of a sudden you're somebody in that space. So if you just keep your foot on the gas and try, do you have interest in this field?
I was giving it a quick thought.
Okay.
I was having a thought about it.
Great.
I see pages like yours and others that inspire me. Just quicksand.
I love
I
that.
wanted to maybe give it a try. Maybe.
Good. Yeah, we can talk after more if you want. I can steer you in a good direction. But whatever your ideas are in that field, just start. There's no loss in starting anything. There's nothing to lose.
Or your grades in school.
What's that? Oh, my grades in school were above average, and I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot to do. So it was like I'd be in school and my teachers knew what I did. So I'd be writing articles in school, covering news in school. They were great with that. So trying to balance both was like, all right, I was probably like an 88, 90 student, above average, I'd say. So it's a lot weighing on me. And how about you guys? What kind of interests do you have? So are you guys on the aviation program? outside of aviation, what kind of stuff are you thinking about college and your future, jobs and careers? You guys can just say it out loud or, whatever.
So, just to kind of lay it up a little bit better, does everybody have a plan outside of what they want to do after high school? So, if you feel comfortable in sharing, just raise your hand and just quickly just say what it is you want to do outside high school.
After I finish high school, I want to get into the industry of aviation. I want to start making some money off that, and then start helping out my family with the bills. Right after I start helping that, I want to get more money to start investing that money. The money makes money, and then I want to get into real estate. I want to get into real estate because y'all have a huge influence on me to real estate, and then I just want to see what it leads me to, like connections,
Who's your?
All three of them. And too.
Well, for me to digest that, that's great. And that's why these programs are available to you guys. And I give you guys credit for sitting in, because you learn from gentlemen like this who've been around the block and who know the business. So they're great resources for that. And aviation, man, I see what you guys got in school here. That's good. You should stay the course on that, really grow it. And hey, there's always an elbow in social media through everything. So you could, be an aviation influencer or something like that. So keep that all in mind.
So just to go around the room a bit faster, just tell me, for example, like aviation, real estate, social media, or something. Just projects all go around.
Right?
Just so everybody speak a little louder. Billy? What? Aviation, real estate? Real estate, social media? Aviation? Aviation? Real estate? What? Aviation. You guys gotta talk louder. I work around planes. I'm kind of deaf. What? Business? Or military?
Nice.
What? Military? So you just said social media too?
Hey, you could always do both.
The what? Aviation and military? You already went. Aviation.
I can't hear you. Speak up!
All of the above.
Aviation and content.
Medicine? I can't. Aviation. What? Real estate lawyer.
Well, that's before I wrap up, before I wrap up, my advice to you guys is kind of like I mentioned with the minor leagues, right? You guys are in the minor leagues right now. You guys aren't pros yet. Even though you might think you are, you still probably have a lot to learn. So keep digesting, keep learning. Because guys, when those checks keep rolling around and you start making more money by just being good at what you do, you're going to want to learn now and be equipped for all that to make money in the future. So you guys wanting to be into real estate, like you said, you need money to make money. So grind right now, go from the minors to the majors in aviation, and start kicking butt in everything you do.
Is anybody working right now? Already started working? You said? Yeah. So just two of you started working? So again, he's been doing this, for those of you that joined a little bit later, he's been doing this since he was 12 years old. So that's like 7th grade?
Yeah, 7th grade.
So in 7th grade, he started his career. And now he's 25 and he's already amassed 4 million followers. So I've met a couple people that it's the same concept. You post videos online, and over a span of a year, it's amazing how your life can change. So, does anybody have any more questions?
Where are you from?
I'm from Long Island, New York, about 45 minutes out. There's nice parts of Brooklyn, man.
Yeah.
How much have I made? Oh, I can't give you a number, but it's a lot more than I was making in Manhattan. I'll give you that per year. No. maybe that offer I told you about was
How much did it cost you to start your business?
zero. Absolutely zero. You could go on Facebook right now and start a page, Instagram, start a page. You know, I got equipment I pay for now, but that's all funded by what I made. The first like 8 years, $0 investment. So
The first 8 years?
yeah.
And then you started investing once you got to get to the next level?
Yeah, like you know, my interview equipment, stuff like that, paying to go places, stuff like that, all business stuff. Yes. Yes, extremely. So they were, you know, my backbone in all of this, you know. I still live at home. I mean, talk about, you know, need money to make money, you just keep stacking when you're living at home. So all my stuff, my basement studio, my house, is all my childhood house growing up. My parents are still supportive, all that. What's up? Yes, I have. I was at this basketball program in Manhattan over the summer. Caden Daughtry, you guys know who he is? I interviewed him around then. Some other names that have slipped my mind, but on my YouTube channel, you can see all of them. I interviewed a bunch of high school guys. Kai and Anthony, I interviewed, Carmelo Anthony. So, you know, he's up next, Kai. So I got him under my belt, which is nice to say.
How'd you get all your followers? Organically? Like, how did it all go here to?
Yeah, all organic. Like, there's a curse in social media that if you pay for your followers, the social media platforms almost suppress your page because you're going to see you slipping off a little bit. They're smart. They want you to keep paying, and they got you on the hook to give you more. All organic. Videos going viral, graphics going viral. I've never paid a dime for anything in that realm of things.
You get your first course out of it. Did you get these?
No, because I'm media credentialed. So you just, you know, you get credentialed through the teams and through the arenas. You go in with your press pass and stuff like that. You interview. You're in the locker rooms. You're in the press areas. Yeah, so it's almost better than paying $10,000 for a courtside seat when you get it all for free. So.
You gotta build some credibility for it.
Exactly.
Any other questions? Do you guys may have? Yeah.
Were you a Drury Lake fan?
Oh, of course. That was the year I started. In 2011, 2012, I was in 7th grade and all that was going down. Insanity, baby. It's tough. A lot of late nights, a lot of no sleep nights. You know, I have high school and college papers due, and then, you know, you got LeBron dropping a 40-point triple-double with his game ending at 1 a.m. So a lot of that stuff. I'm like, I just love the work. That's something else you guys can learn. When you love your work, you just grind and grind and grind. You just keep it up. Because you know the end goal in sight is, you know, lucrative for you or, you know, taking yourself to more money, to new heights, stuff like that. So, yeah, managing time is almost like a gauntlet in your own mind of being like, I gotta get this done. Like my high school paper's due tomorrow. LeBron's going crazy on TV right now. You gotta manage both. You just gotta do it. I got practice tomorrow. It's hectic, but you just gotta do it.
Last question.
Yep.
Did you ever lose motivation? And if you did, how did you handle it?
Did I lose motivation?
Did you ever lose motivation? And if you did, how did you handle it?
Yeah, well, I kind of answered a little bit of that. In 2016, during that crazy NBA year, I was just busy with the school and all that stuff. And it was weighing on me a lot. That was kind of before the major money came. So money's a good thing. It could ignite that fire again. So around that time is when that happened. And yeah, I lost a little bit, but you pick yourself back up. It's been 13 years. I think I can have a little divot in my story. All right, now really the last one, and then I'll finish up. What's up? 2017. Is that old? Am I old? Young? I'm 25. I think I'm young.
So, I really can. Just to kind of wrap up, what do you think about one piece, the biggest piece of advice that you think that they would be able to take away from something? You know, just throughout your 13-year career, you've seen a lot, you've experienced a lot, you've been in their shoes. What's one thing that maybe you would tell your younger self if you were in their shoes, or what's the biggest piece of advice?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of mentioned, you know, taking these guys, picking their brains and stuff like that, and also starting early, I mentioned earlier, but another one is taking it all serious. Like, okay, you know, I get it in high school, I goofed off in class and stuff like that, but when you goof off in class and you really don't take things serious, you actually miss things that you could use in the future. So, and forming relationships with teachers, your mentors and stuff like that, because learning from them, you'll be like, oh, I never heard of this, or I don't know how to do that. But really, like, if you weren't goofing off in class, you might learn that aviation thing that your boss in 5 years is like, how don't you know how to do that? Like, you learned that in high school. But if you're a clown, you could kind of slip up a little bit. So all of that piece together, just use your mentors and pick their brains.
Well, Mikey, we want to thank you for your time to be able to come and
And guys, before I wrap up, you know, if you guys want to take out your phones, you can scan that. You could follow all the Buzz platforms on everything. You can see my interviews. You could, you know, see everything I do, everything I spoke about. You can see in the flesh through that QR code.
So for you guys, you know, an opportunity to be able to talk to someone that's been in your shoes and built a career at such a young age, it's an opportunity for you to really pick his brain and be able to, you know, not a lot of people get access to him. Usually he's the one asking the questions, not the one answering them. So for you guys, I hope if you guys did have a question, you did get a chance to ask it, because something like this just doesn't necessarily come up every day. Being able to ask someone questions on how to build a career at such a young age.
Yeah. And just to add on to that a little bit, Joseph, if you guys want to shoot me a DM at any time, you need advice, you need, you know, mentorship to get steered anywhere, or just want to talk hoops, shoot Courtside Buzz or read my ad, Mikey Domagala on Instagram. Yeah, we can talk. And I'll maybe, you know, hook you guys up with something in the future. All right?
Thank you.
I appreciate it, guys.
We still got more time.